You know the moment, we've all been there. You're in the grocery store aisle, your child is melting down, or a door slams in your face. And then, just like that, your patience is gone. You hear yourself say something you immediately wish you could just pull back from the air. And in that moment, that feeling of helplessness, the question we always ask is, what am I doing wrong?
But what if that's the wrong question? Seriously, what if we could reframe this whole thing? What if your child isn't misbehaving? What if they're not trying to give you a hard time? They're just having a hard time. And that brings us to the heart of Dr. Becky Kennedy's work. It's this one simple, powerful belief. Our kids, all of us really, are good inside. Their behavior is something they do. It is not who they are. And right there, in that little bit of space between their identity and their actions, well, that's where the real parenting begins.
So let's look at this like an equation. What we see on the surface, what we call bad behavior, it's really just the result of two things. First, huge, overwhelming feelings, like frustration or jealousy or just pure disappointment. And second, the fact that they don't yet have the skills to manage those big feelings. It's not defiance, it's a system overload. Their little body's just flooded.
When you see it this way, our entire role shifts. We move from being a punisher to being a leader. See, punishment is all about stopping the behavior, right? And usually it works through fear, which, as we know, just creates distance between us. But sturdy leadership? That's different. It's about building skills, it creates safety, it deepens connection, and it teaches our kids what to do with their feelings, not just to pretend they don't have them.
To really get this idea of sturdy leadership, Dr. Becky uses this amazing metaphor. Imagine you're on a plane, and there's some really scary turbulence. Now, the first pilot gets on the intercom and says, "Stop screaming back there. You're making a big deal out of nothing." This pilot is threatened by your fear. They're trying to shut it down. And in doing so, they disconnect.
Okay, now imagine a second pilot. This one gets on the intercom and just panics with you. "Oh my gosh, turbulence. I'm opening the doors. Does anyone know how to fly this thing?" This is the permissive parent, right? The one who gets so overwhelmed by their child's upset that they just give in to make it stop. This pilot also disconnects, but this time from their own authority.
And then there's the third pilot, the sturdy leader. This pilot comes on and says, "I hear you screaming back there. I get it. It's bumpy. But I want you to know I've got this. I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to get us there safely." See what they did? They validated the feeling, "I hear you," while staying a calm, confident authority. This is the parent our kids are desperately looking for in the middle of their storm.
So why is this so hard for us? Well, a lot of the time, we just collapse a child's identity right into their behavior. We see them hit, and our brain immediately thinks, "He's a bad kid." Why? It's because behavior is what we can see. Identity is invisible. And let's be honest, chances are, many of us were raised this way too. Our own sense of self got all tangled up with our mistakes. This is where we can start to forge a new path, and it begins with a single, life-changing phrase. You look at your struggling child and you say, "You're a good kid having a hard time." That's it. It separates who they are from what they're doing. It lets you step in as their coach, not their critic. And it reminds both of you of that fundamental goodness inside that just got, well, temporarily hijacked.
Let's just take a breath here for a second and turn inward. Think about it. How were you seen in your hardest moments as a kid? Were your feelings met with understanding, or were they dismissed, maybe even punished? You know, our own childhood wires our factory settings. It shapes our inner critic, our anxiety, and that deep down belief about whether it's actually safe to fall apart in front of the people who are supposed to love us most.
And here's the truth. We're all going to mess up. We're all going to lose our cool and become that shaky pilot sometimes. The rupture is going to happen. It's inevitable. But here's the secret. Perfection was never the goal. The real magic, the real opportunity for deep, lasting connection, it happens after the mistake. It happens in the repair.
And repair doesn't have to be this big, complicated thing. It's really just 3 simple steps. First, you name what happened. "Hey, I really yelled at you earlier." Second, you take responsibility. "I was feeling so frustrated and it wasn't okay for me to speak to you that way. I'm sorry." And third, you just reconnect. A hug, or even just sitting next to them, it's about showing them you're still there. And here's what's so incredible about this. Repair actually changes your child's memory of what happened. The yelling, the rupture, yeah, that memory is still there. But you've just added a new, more powerful layer on top of it. The memory of being seen, the memory of a parent who says, "I'm sorry," the memory of feeling safe again.
The story is no longer, my parent is scary. The story becomes, even when my parent makes a mistake, they always come back for me.
So, as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with this idea. Let it sink in. Maybe your child isn't difficult.
Maybe all of that behavior that drives you crazy, maybe it's just the sound of a little person who is completely and utterly overwhelmed.
And maybe, when you were their age, you were overwhelmed too. And nobody ever looked at you and said, you are a good kid just having a very hard time.